Hi everyone, welcome back to Money IQ. Thank you all so much for your love. Thank you for all your comments, and thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for sharing. Honestly, thank you so much. It's been really encouraging to see your comments, your likes, your views. So make sure you subscribe, you're sharing, and you're liking. So let's get to today's topic. My name is Toyosi, and thank you for joining us. Yeah, over the past 3 months, we've been talking about money management generally. And today I wanted to talk about something that you probably wouldn't find in a lot of money management videos, and that's giving actually. Me personally, I feel like giving should be part of money management because the truth is life happens, right? Life happens to every one of us. Yes, we've talked a lot about emergency fund and short-term fund, but sometimes some people don't have the ability to even reach those levels of saving. And like the pandemic has taught us, like, right, like we all need to be there for one another in one way or another. So I guess today I just wanted to talk about giving and how we should be thinking about giving. So let's get to it now. For me, as an African lady, I am entitled to something that you call African tax, right? Um, giving money to people at home, because they just expect that to happen. It's not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying it just goes to show, why giving is important. And also, I'm a Christian. I have to give to my church, my local church, support the body of Christ in different ways. And so, giving is actually a part of our lives that we don't sometimes give good enough thought to, and we don't really plan about it. But I think it should be part of money management, right? And here are the reasons why. Because sometimes you find that you have to give on an emergency. Say someone suddenly has an accident that is not in your immediate family that you probably save for your emergency fund. Where does that come from, right? I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes if you can't afford to give, there is this pain in you, especially if you've bought loads of takeout the month before, right? And there's this, oh, I wish I was just the better steward of my money so I can afford to give. So I mean, of course, maybe you're not like me, but that's how I feel sometimes if I'm not able to give. So emergencies can come up, urgent needs can come up. Also, you can just need to help a friend. Again, the pandemic has taught us nobody wants to lose their job. Nobody wants to volunteer to lose their job. But unfortunately, people are losing their jobs. So things like that. And of course, most importantly, you've got your African tax. I said most importantly because to a lot of us is actually quite important. So how should I be thinking about these types of giving? What principles should I have in place? And how can I better prepare myself to give? This video, I'm going to make it as chilled as possible because I don't want us to feel like giving is a burden. But I think if we can apply these principles, we will find that actually they might not really be. So let's talk about giving. I think the first thing about giving is make a decision to give. Unfortunately, you cannot go ahead with any plan if you don't decide that you want to go through with that plan. So the first thing is make a decision to be a giver or make a decision to give better. You can add it to your financial goal this year. And when you make that decision to give, you already have your budgets in place. You can then see how much you can give. That goes to my second point. Be intentional about giving. And that means taking out certain amount of money for that specific need. Let's say, for example, you give offerings in church. I'm going to use that again, like I mentioned, being a Christian, church is one way in which we give. So you decide to give offering in church. Let's say you decide your offering per month or per week is £10. I would say at the start of a month, make sure you have set up about, let's say there are 4 Sundays in the month, £40 for that giving. And separate it. If you're a person who likes to give cash, get them in cash so that you can take them out every Sunday. Also, one thing about being intentional is you don't forget to give. Or if it's direct debit, set direct debit so you don't forget. Again, be intentional about it so that you can plan it, whether you're planning it with direct regular debit, whether it's cash withdrawal. But the fact that you've planned and made the fact that you've decided and you're making a plan about it allows you to be a better giver. So those are first two things that I would say you should kind of think about when it comes to giving. Again, one thing that can happen, let's put church aside. So let's say you also setting money to give your family members every month, and let's say 1 month you didn't give. What you can do is, of course, move this money into a bigger pool and constantly draw out of that pool. But basically, it makes you not short-handed when you need to give. So that's something to think about. Another principle that I want us to think about, about money is do not borrow money to give. Yeah, this is a really hard one, right? And it's especially hard when you actually don't know how to say no, like me. Um, but if you cannot afford to give, don't give. I know we've heard this so many times, but you should only give money that you can forget about. Yeah, it is true. Give money that you can forget about so you don't resent the person in your heart or you don't get angry. And if the person runs away, again, it might be a give loan or not, but if the person runs away, you can forget about it. But yeah, please do not get yourself in debt or loan money to give, even if you think you have the ability to pay back. Please don't do that. Avoid it. Avoid. Do not loan, do not borrow to give. You only give what you can afford. Actually, only give what you can afford to lose. The same thing as a principle on investment. Only give what you can afford to lose so you don't get yourself in trouble. So yeah, remember our principles. Do not get yourself in trouble because of giving. Again, remember, as what we always say, context. Think about your financial state, which is what your budget will tell you. Can you afford to give? Do you need help rather than you helping others? It's okay to be the one to need help. It's okay to say no. Do not borrow to give. I hope those tips are helpful. In terms of thinking about loan and things like that. Just on the side, just a few extra things to kind of talk about. Because we're talking about giving, and oftentimes, family, friends, people can come to you about being a collateral or loaning them money. I would say things to think about before you become someone's collateral. Are you ready to take on the debt if anything goes wrong? So think carefully about this. I know these things a lot is not necessarily thinking about money management, and sometimes it's a bit sentimental, but I think you should just kind of think about those things. Make sure you don't get into debt over giving. Never use yourself to be guarantor. Always remember, do not loan money just to give someone. I hope those things are helpful. It is good to give. A lot more people need money, need help than we can imagine, especially from this pandemic. Of course, find a trustworthy charity to give, or find a family to support, or find a friend to support. A lot of people need help around the world. It won't be hard to find someone that you can help or reach out to. So the pool is wide. Do your research as well, but I would say, contrary to what any money management person will tell you, I challenge you today to be a better giver. But most importantly, I challenge you to be a cheerful giver. And the only way you can really be a cheerful giver is when you plan for it, you're intentional about it, and you do not give more than you can afford. I hope those tips are really helpful. Good luck as you make a decision to start giving more, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Always looking forward to reading your comments. Thank you again for watching. Take care. Bye.